Italian Football Podcast.
Next question, Don Caruso says, UEFA postponed a decision on whether to allow Serie A to play the Milan versus Como game in Australia. Do you think it should be allowed? I know you don't. I don't have a problem with it. I have to be honest. I have no problem with it.
No, I think it's disgraceful. This is not just about Italy, because Spain are trying to do the same thing. I think it sets a terrible precedent. It destroys the credibility and the fairness of fair competition. The whole idea of a league season is you play an equal number of games at home and an equal number of games away, and that's the same for every single team. If a team plays one less game away, in this case Como, that is an advantage to them. Como could be going for Europe, or even more potentially this season or in future seasons. And if they're playing one less game away from home, that is an unfair advantage on them, and it's an unfair advantage on the other teams who are playing one more away game than them. So immediately you destroy all the credibility of fair competition in your league. And I can't believe anybody that cannot see that is living in cuckoo land. Then you have the precedent that it sets of opening up a can of worms on what is then going to follow, because other teams, rightfully so, will be saying, well, if Milan and Como can be playing away outside of Italy and earning all this money and opening up new markets, then we want to do the same. So Inter are going to say, we want to play in America. Juventus are going to say, we want to play in Africa. Rightfully so. So before you know it, you're going to be having everybody playing, different games. And then, well, if we're going to play one game a season, well, why can't we do 2 games a season? If we're going to play 2 games, why can't we do 3 games a season? And then it just becomes a farce. So those are the 2 teams. I have no problem in trying to open up more markets. I think we need to do that. Although I would say that we should probably start with trying to sell TV rights before.
Yeah, I think that would be a good place to start.
That would be a good place to start.
I think that would be a good place to start.
My big problem is it destroys the credibility and fair competition, because you have to have an equal number of games. It's just simple as that. Yeah,
I don't think that's the main concern for me, the credibility or fairness of the competition, because Milan is always going to have. Milan has a massive fan base in Australia, as do Juve and Inter and so on. So I think they're going to have an unbelievable atmosphere there, because there's so many Italian Australians of Italian descent, like yourself, Carlo, families. A lot of people like yours with your story, like Adriano Del Monte, our good friend. His family are of original. He's of Italian descent. He's from Australia, but there's lots of it. There's lots of stuff like that. And I do think that it's nice for them, because they live so far away that they can see their team without having to travel to Milan. I think that's a nice thing. I don't have a problem with it, because I think the idea that the NHL and others do that as well. I think NFL does it as well. It's actually pretty smart to grow the brand just once every year. I think my issue is, so I don't have really a problem with it. But my thing is, I'm thinking, wouldn't it have been better to do this in the Coppa Italia instead?
I said that. I don't have an issue with that, because I don't think that doesn't affect the fairness of the competition. It's still a bit weird having it called the Coppa Italia and played away, but I'd be more open to that, because it doesn't affect the fairness of the competition.
Yeah.
It's a knockout game. If it's a knockout game, not for a 2-legged side, for a knockout game, I have no issue with that. Maybe even say from the semi-final stage, we're going to play the semi-finals and the final in a country. Maybe every year we move it somewhere else. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But I cannot accept it for Serie A.
Maybe like they've done with the Super Coppa, which I think was hilarious, because the Saudis, the very first year they had it, they thought they were getting Inter, Milan, Juve, and they got Inter, Lazio, Napoli, and Atalanta, and they were furious.
Yeah, well, you see, there's that as well.
I thought it was hilarious.